Now let's get an expert's take on the upcoming Inter-Korean summit and North Korea's apparent decision to make so many concessions to South Korea and the United States. Joining us on the line is Professor Kim Hyun-wook from the Korea National Diplomatic Academy in Seoul. So, Professor, I'd like to start with Pyongyang's motives. Does this move by North Korea signal a real sign of change, or is it merely a ruse to buy more time to work on their nuclear missile programs?
I think the agreement itself signals a very positive perspective. I mean, North Korea has expressed a very clear messages that it is willing to denuclearize itself. And as the media news has reported, the President Trump also expressed a positive wishes for the dialogue between North Korea and the United States. But the thing is that I think North Korea is eager to have a dialogue with North Korea because of the current U.S. hardline policies towards North Korea. But as it has desire to have its nuclear weapons for the domestic power consolidations, I'm not sure if it's willing to pursue a process to denuclearize itself. So I think the process and dialogue between North Korea and the United States, we have to see how it goes. It's too early to call whether it will be really successful in the future.
And with the reopening of dialogue with North Korea, many people are wondering if the intense international sanctions you touched upon finally broke the regime and is forcing Kim Jong-un to the table. How big of an influence do you think the sanctions had, and what financial rewards do you think the North will be looking for?
The sanctions definitely have worked. I mean, the sanctions really have made a lot of people inside North Korea concerned and complaining about the North Korean regime, especially the people who are exporting and importing, commodities from China and selling them out to the informal markets in North Korea are complaining a lot about the sanctions and the economic situations. So I think the sanctions definitely have worked. But the thing is that sanctions will continue. That's what the U.S. officials are saying. So even though dialogue is opening, I don't think the sanctions would be reduced or softened or lifted. So I'm not sure if there will be any rewards, financial, economic rewards to North Korea possible. If there will be some attempts for that kind of rewards by South Korea, I don't think the U.S. would really agree with that.
Okay, and Professor, President Moon Jae-in deserves an awful lot of credit for laying the groundwork for this summit. You could also say that President Trump, through his unusually strong rhetoric, unpredictability and policy of maximum pressure his administration has been pursuing, has really helped as well. What are your thoughts on Trump in particular, and do you think if next month's summit goes well, do you see much of a prospect for President Trump to actually hold face-to-face talks with Kim Jong-un?
I think the North Korea and the U.S. dialogue could start before the summit meeting between North Korea and the South Korea. U.S. expressed its willingness to talk with North Korea. Maybe the preliminary talk with North Korea to see what North Korea is thinking about denuclearization. Maybe North Korea and the U.S. can meet and talk about the future processes of denuclearization. I'm not sure if these kinds of talk would be satisfying the U.S. positions because the U.S. is saying that it would not repeat the past government's, mistakes. So we have to see how it goes. But the thing is that the summit meeting between North and South Korea is very early. It's April, or late April. And I don't think any substantial progress in denuclearization between North Korea and the United States before the summit meeting is not possible. So some kinds of concern I have is, okay, we will have a summit meeting in April, late April. And afterwards, what if the U.S. and North Korea denuclearization talk is broken? In that case, the U.S. and South Korea would have to take a different path towards North Korea, which is a big concern for me.
Okay, well, I can kind of get a sense of what your answer might be, but before we let you go, many people are feeling really upbeat about these latest developments. Do you share their sense of optimism?
Yes, the agreement itself, the agreement between the North Korea and South Korea itself is very optimistic. At least North Korea and South Korea have agreed upon the summit meeting, and also they agreed upon the denuclearization talk with the United States. So from the South Korean perspective, the North-South relations and the U.S.-North Korea talk, it's all possible in the future. The thing is how the process goes on and what substantial outcome would come out of it. That's something we have to pay attention continuously in the future.